couple hours from Japan, would you stay awake? I'm losing touch of who I am when you're far away. And I feel like I'm running in circles around you. And I know I've been acting strange for a while, but I want you close, ooh, closer than before. And no one knows, ooh, that I want you close. I'm not overthinking feelings, I just need you to know that I want you close, ooh, closer than before. I know that we've been through a lot, now we're hiding in the crowd. I'll be whatever you want me to be, you know I'm on your side. And I feel like I'm running in circles around you. And I know I've been acting strange for a while, but I want you close, ooh, closer than before. And no one knows, ooh, that I want you close. I'm not overthinking feelings, I just need you to know that I want you close, ooh, closer than before. Closer than before. Closer than before. Hiding all my feelings, broken from the start. Wish you never leave me. Am I going too far? But I want you close, closer than before. But I want you close.
Hi guys, my name is Simone. Welcome to my channel. It's gonna be an interesting week at work, and to get straight to the point, this is the week where layoffs will be announced. We've known for a while that layoffs are coming. I think we found out in October, and people wanted to know right away. We were, I think, maybe end of October, early November, and of course everyone wanted to know right away. The holidays were coming up, people wanted to know how to approach their budget. Do they need to be more conservative? People wanted to know right away, but leadership decided that the layoffs would be announced in mid-January. Today is January 17th, so we know that it's going to be this week. We don't know what day this week it's going to be. We do know that when layoffs are announced, I believe we're going to have a day or two to kind of like close out our offices and kind of wrap things up. And I just want to talk about how we got here. I mean, what I've heard and what I've learned so far, there were a few factors that led to this layoff that's gonna happen this week. I think there were signs that layoffs were coming, maybe not to the entire institution, but for me particularly, as someone that works in finance, I think the first sign that I noticed, I didn't exactly knew that layoffs were coming, but the first sign that I noticed financial troubles is when we were doing efficiency work, cut the budget significantly, and then the next thing that happened is that we had a hiring freeze, and then the final thing that happened were the announcement of layoffs. And basically watched a lot of videos talking about layoffs and things like that, and those three signs were so clear. I mean, if you know, you know. It wasn't said, it wasn't, you know, announced, but those three signs, they were there, and eventually we got word from leadership basically saying that even after implementing all of those cost efficient measures, we still have to take it a step further, and then the next step are layoffs, because as you know, labor is one of the highest expenses a hospital has to carry, and right now expenses are outweighing revenue and it's not sustainable. And so this is the result of that. We really don't know who's going to be laid off. There's no formula from our perspective as a regular employee. I know for senior leadership, I'm sure they have a strategy in place as to how they're moving forward. But for us, we can't say, oh, someone's been here forever, they're kind of protected, or this person works super hard, they're kind of protected. No, there's no, like, from our perspective, there's no formula for the layoffs. But the decisions have been made. Everyone who is going to be laid off, the decision has already been made. It's just not yet announced. And so this week is going to be the week that we find out who's being laid off. And I feel like for leadership, it's basically looking at your team. And when I say for leadership, I'm thinking about the strategy that they're using determining who they're going to lay off. They're basically looking at their team, thinking about the strategic priorities that the team has to deliver on, and decide what talent they need to accomplish those goals. So on one end, you have the strategic priorities handed down from the institution's leadership, and on one hand, you have the talent, which is the employees, the staff that you have to go through all those employees, determine who do you need to be on staff to be able to accomplish the strategic priorities. That's my take. I believe that's the method that they're using, but again, we don't know. I'm just gonna jump into how I'm feeling. I think in the beginning I was nervous and anxious like anyone would be, but I've prayed about it. I've handed it over to God. It's not my burden to bear, not anymore. I don't know how I'll feel once the announcements are made. I feel like either way it's gonna be bittersweet. If I'm impacted, it's gonna be horrible, and I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to move forward. And even if I'm not impacted, I'm gonna know a lot of people directly in our department that I work with who are impacted, and so that's gonna be very sad as well. I think for me, the first thing that I did when I found out that layoffs were coming, I looked at my budget. First thing I did was I analyzed my budget, figure out how am I going to survive if I lose my income. And luckily, thankfully, I do have a spouse who is gainfully employed. His income can cover our expenses. I mean, my income gives us, you know, the bells and whistles, the additional stuff, but at least I know that we have enough savings and we have another income that will be able to carry us sometime in the future. The other thing is I found out about severance packages, and our institution is going to be offering, I believe we're going to have salary continuance for a period, and then after salary continuance they're going to be offering severance packages depending on how long you've been in the institution and your management level. And so that is where we are now. As I said, I'm not panicking and calm in my nerves. I honestly, worrying at this point, it serves no good, because it's not going to change the outcome. And instead of worrying, I'd instead like to kind of plan my future and see how I'm going to navigate through this process. So the first thing I did was I looked at my budget, kind of see, you know, what we need to cut, what we can keep, and just kind of ensuring that our bases are covered. Yeah, our bases are covered. And the second thing I did was found out about severance packages. And then what I did is I went through my folders at work, like emailed myself all of the personal, not really personal documents, but important documents that are on my computer. Things like tax files, things like my resume, my updated resume, my job description, projects that I've worked on in the past. And these things are very important when you are going to be looking for another job. You need to know what you've been working on all these years. Put together your resume, like an updated version of your resume, preparing documents that I need, sending them to my personal email so that whenever, if I do lose access to my email, I have that on hand. So today again is Tuesday, January 17th. Yesterday was Monday, but it was a holiday, so the office was technically closed. I mean, I work remote, but we were off yesterday, so today is the first day of the week of layoffs. I'll check in again tomorrow. If there are any updates, I'll be sure to update you, and I'll let you guys know what my faith is. And I just want to say I love my job. I love my job. Even more than loving my job, I love the institution that I'm working for. I have been wanting to work at this institution for years. I mean, I sent probably hundreds of applications until I finally got an entry-level role, and I've been slowly working my way up in the institution over the past 7 years and a few months. I absolutely love the institution I work for. I love the mission. Even though I work in finance, well, I don't work in the finance department. I work in a department doing finance work for that department, finance and operations. But I started supporting a clinical team, and I will always forever in the back of my mind have like my patients in mind. Like, I always think about my patients. No matter how many numbers I'm crunching, I know exactly who I'm doing it for, and I know that my work is for a greater cause. And so I love my job. I want to stay here. This is the institution that I would love to retire from. But if the time comes where I have to move on, then that's exactly what I'll do. And I'm forever thankful for the experiences that I've had and the skills that I've gained working here for the past 7 years. So I'll check in again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.
Closer than before, and no one knows that I want you close. I'm not overthinking feelings, I just need you to know.
Okay, guys, it's a little bit dark, but guys, I just got off a call with the SVP in our department. Nerve-wracking. I'm just at loss. When she called, well, when I saw the call coming in from her, I was just thinking, oh, it's my time. It's my time. I just know, because why else would she be calling me? Sorry, I'm looking at the view instead of the lens, but she just called me, and it's not what I expected, and it's gonna be hard, and I am still calm but a bit unsettled, and I will come back and talk about how I'm feeling. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow or at the end of the week. Wow, I didn't expect this outcome, but we're gonna be okay. And I'll go into more details later.
That I want you close.